Me hit record. And welcome to, what day are we?
11?
Oh, 10.
11, 10? We're close.
10.
We're within a day. Honestly, Wednesday of week 2, that's where we're at. So, this week, as I mentioned earlier, we're still focusing
Sit back.
on our foundation.
Can't believe how bad my eyes look.
John, I'm muting you for a second. We're still working on our foundation. So what was really interesting is I'm running a class that's just wrapping up right now. And I was talking, I had a guest speaker. I had one of my former clients come in and chat with them. And she said to the group, it's so amazing when you're going through the first 2 weeks of the program and you really don't understand what you're doing and you don't really get how important this is, because what you're learning in the first 2 weeks is what's going to help you when the program is done 90 days from now and you're working on how do I make this lifestyle work in my real life. And I thought I got to share that with my second group tonight, because it was just so perfectly said that we're going through this right now. And a lot of you are saying, I don't understand why we're doing this. I don't get it. When are we going to start? When are we going to make some changes? But this piece is so important for being successful when the program's finished and you're moving forward in real life. So what you're doing right now, keep at it, even though you might be sort of struggling with the whole concept. And I do want to let you know that regardless of whether you have finished your 2 weeks with us and you're saying goodbye, or whether you're finishing the 90-day challenge, we do have an enhancement on Friday that you can implement into your life regardless of the decision you make about this program, that I think you're going to be able to finally say, all right, we're making some progress here. We're going to make some movement here. But I do want to sort of do some check-ins, obviously, tonight. I'm wondering if you're starting to hear more of the dialogue, whether you're starting to use that food timeline and really start to get an understanding of what you're eating. Because the more we practice this, the more conscious we become about our food choices, the more we're going to hear the messages that our bodies send us. And then we can make some decisions about what we want to do about that. And that's where the concept of food freedom comes in. The pizza's not calling me, but if I want to have pizza, then I'm going to consciously make that decision to do so, right? So Trisha's got her hand up. Awesome. Oh, we lost you.
I'm here. I just had to unmute myself. Oh,
Okay.
I lost my.
We lost
See
the
if I
camera.
Yep, as usual. Let's see our video. There we go. Okay, so I have to
Just
tell
remember, as we're doing our check-ins, we want to start with something positive.
Okay, positive. I had to travel all day yesterday, and I knew I was only going to get a few hours sleep from 5:30 to 8:30 yesterday morning. And I'm like, what can I do? I can't bring the Alka-Geyser on a plane. I can't get it in the airport. I know I'm going to have short time. But I had the good sense. I remember you saying that you could eat it. So I went to the organic salad place. It's all organic and expensive. And I got a salad. So when I got to the airport, I had something good to eat and I got all the vegetables I needed because I ate my fruit. And then it's like, I got to get to the airport on 3 hours sleep. And so that's the good side. But I have to tell you that I weigh my right now, I'll flip out. So in order to play this full out, I cannot step on the scale right now because I know my clothes are a little tight. And I'm feeling sloshy because of all the fruit and water. And I was already drinking 8 ounces of water or 8 ounce glasses. So I just added 2. So anyways, it's a lot, but everything's going good. No complaints. And I just got to trust the process. But there is the devil on my shoulder that's like, this is Eric's trick. This is how I already bought the 90-day program the other day, but this is how he gets me to do it. I gained like 30 pounds in the first 2 weeks. Now I'm stuck for 90 days. weight. Everybody's thinking it. Come on.
You know what? One of the things that I sort of didn't warn you about, and I probably should have, is that, yeah, you might gain a couple pounds in the first couple of weeks because we're not making any changes. We want you to eat foods that you know you probably shouldn't, but you really crave them. Those are things that you have eaten in the past. And even though you're all ready to make a change, we're still making sure you eat all that stuff. So yeah, you probably will put a few pounds on. That's to be expected. But Trisha, you know what that you just said, that was the best piece of all that was, I just need to trust the program. And I know that we don't, you don't know Eric, and I know we've just met, but I've done this enough. And I promise you, when we're at week 13, we're going to look back at this week and think of all those things about, I didn't, I wasn't sure if I was ready to do this. I wasn't sure if I was ready to trust the program. I really don't know what direction we're going in. Why am I putting some weight on instead of taking weight off? I don't feel good. All that stuff is going to make so much more sense in a couple of weeks. So, do you like the feeling of eating all of this stuff? Do you like how your body feels right now, Trish?
No, I don't. I got up late because I had some canceled flights last night, and by the time I ate and then had the Algadizer and then had what I would normally eat, which is just a coffee, I was like, I'm trying to eat what I normally eat, but if I put any more in my little stomach right now, I'm going to throw up. That's how I felt. So.
Okay, that's fantastic. I'm hoping, guys, that most of you are journaling, because writing this stuff down is so important. You will honestly forget how you feel today at the end of our 3 months together. So write it down. Write down what you've eaten. Write down how your body feels. I want to really encourage you to do that. But that's an awesome check-in, Trish. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right. Anybody else?
I'll go. Oh, you go.
Okay, let's
Oh,
do
go ahead,
Veronica.
Sarah. Sarah, go ahead.
Okay,
I'll go after
Sarah.
Sarah.
I was just gonna say, I totally agree with Chris. I'm really enjoying the Alka-Geyser, my new NutriBullet, or not NutriBullet, my new whiz-bang mixer turned up. It's so good. I didn't realize before my stuff was really lumpy, and now it's so smooth. And this morning, and then I struggled to eat the fruit as well, but I was in a rush because the dog normally goes for a walk, and then I get a coffee when I'm on my walk, so I had to get my Alka-Geyser in 3 pieces of fruit by like 8 o'clock this morning, with the dog kind of at my heels wanting to go for a walk. But then I realized my coffee is a rule. It's just what I always do. It's like my way of, it's a treat. When I go for a walk, I have a coffee. It starts my morning. I didn't particularly feel like it, but after my coffee, because I have soy milk as well, I just feel a bit sick. And just, yeah, bloated. I've put on a lot of weight. My jeans don't fit. Everything's tight. I just feel bloated and ready. But I'm journaling, and I am, writing all this stuff down. I'm still binging, but I'm kind of like, last night I went to the supermarket with my daughter, and I said, let's get some chocolate. And I got a Mars bar, but instead of getting a single, I got like a double. And I said to her, why do we get the double Mars bar? What's the reason for that? Because I think it's because we don't want we don't want it to end, that sort of experience of treating ourselves. So I always go for the bigger. And then I quickly picked up another little bar of chocolate that I ate sneakily in my room. So I don't know if anyone else does that, but I have a bit of a secret. I eat sneakily. Mm-hmm. I hide it, and I teach my children that bad habit as well. I'm like, oh, don't tell your dad. So
Wow. So why? And if you can't answer that, I understand. But why do you think you do that?
Because I kind of feel a bit ashamed of it, maybe. And I know my mum used to sort of say, oh, don't tell your dad. And I was like, I'm never going to do that when I get married, not tell my husband. No, I do exactly the same. I don't know. I could buy the M&Ms and eat them in the car on the way home from the supermarket, but I eat or chocolate coated licorice, which is one of my favorites. And we eat that in the car. I eat it in the car on the way home, like a whole big bag that's, 10 for 10 people. I don't know why I do it. That's because normally I eat quite healthily. Like I eat, my normal diet, but it's just these binge attacks. That I have,
Yeah.
but I think that's why being mindful is good to sort of look. That's the other thing I did with the chocolate coated licorice. I looked at the packet.
Yep.
And I said that actually does not look that nice, really.
Right.
But once I start eating it, then you start and you think about the first couple of mouthfuls, but then you're like, oh, what the heck, and go.
But do you find that the fourth, fifth, sixth mouthful still tastes as good, or are you just at that point? You know what, I'm up to my elbows, so I might as well go all in.
Yeah, that's how I get. I've just got to finish it now to have it over with, and that's why I just got to get it over with now, and I can move on.
Right. Okay. That's some fantastic observations. I love the sneaking of food, though. That is so interesting, and it's always interesting to try to go back to, well, where did that come from? Is it feelings of guilt? Is it feelings of shame? Is it that I don't want to share it? And if I take it home, then I won't be able to eat the whole package, all of that. There's some really good.
I think it is a bit of that. I don't know why, which is awful. But I don't want to teach my children, I think with the kids as well, I don't want them to have all that sugar. So I just get it out of the way, then they won't have any. Yeah. But I feel like I just feel this is going to help. I am slowing down a little bit more, and like I said, looking at the packet and looking at that, and having a look at the Mars bar before I put it in my mouth. And I just said to my daughter, does it actually look that good? And she's like, yeah, it does. And I said, well, it's kind of brown, and we only think it looks good because we know it tastes good, but kind of doesn't look that good, really. So we're, I'm trying to do that and talking out loud. I do that a lot.
Good. That's awesome. Sarah, what are you, if you could give something up right now, what would you like Eric to say, stop eating this today?
I'd really like him to say, stop eating bread and pastries, gluten would be because I wasn't really eating that anyway. And now I've gone back to eating it, and it is not good for my arthritis. I know that. So I'm now eating that. And this is another observation, which I knew this before, but it's just become true. The more I eat bread, the more I want bread. So it is addictive, and I actually feel hungry for it, even though I know it's not a proper hunger. Yeah. So
do you know that in restaurants, they put bread, how they'll serve you bread on the table before your meal? They statistically have shown that people that eat the bread at the end of the meal, even if they're full, will order dessert.
Yeah.
Yep. Because I always look at bread and go, why are they putting that on the table? I won't want to eat my meal. But the exact opposite happens. You want to eat more. So bread is very interesting.
And that would be because I know as soon as I cut out those types of carbs, I know I've done it before, the weight just drops off. And that's what I'm looking forward to, the day that Eric says, okay, this week, don't eat any, gluten. I'll be happy.
So what we want to make different for you this time, though, is that when we start to remove items, that you get to a point where they just don't come back.
Yeah.
Because you don't want them. Now, the second part of the question is, what are you absolutely terrified that he might make you give up, that you're not ready to let go of?
I think I'm kind of feeling like coffee, I might be getting to the point of being able to let go of it, but I think that would be very challenging for me. And alcohol would be a huge thing, because that's just my weekend drinking habits, binge drinking a bit on the weekend, wine, going out with friends, that's so alcohol, I don't know if I'd ever be able to properly, I don't know if we have to stop drinking, but I need to get that under control as well. I don't drink at all through the week, but on the weekends I do.
Okay. Okay, those are, there's,
that would
I'm
be-
not telling you that
Mhm.
he is or isn't going to have,
No,
but I'm just curious as to what your thinking is, but that's great. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Okay, so I'm gonna go to Veronica and then we're gonna do Carla and then Yukari. So Veronica, you're on the hot seat.
Oh, well, I had a really good day, a really good morning. I love the alkalizer. I add two things to it that make it, I don't know, I like ginger and I grow a lot of fresh ginger, so I put ginger in it and I put lime juice in it.
Mhm.
And then the rest is the same, the celery, apple, cucumber. I really like it. And it was so filling that I didn't get hungry until, well, today was Mahjong day. So I have friends that I play, the same women that I play Mahjong with, and I play from 1 to 4. So during that period of time, I was not hungry. I was not thinking of food. I was drinking my water, coasting along on that smoothie. And then they left, and 4 o'clock hit, and my body is going, food, Will Robinson, food, like now. So I had to pick up a prescription for my husband. And I'm thinking, you don't want to go home and eat, because if you go home, you're just going to look in the fridge and eat the first thing you grab. So I thought you can stop at the Panda Express, and they have a side which is all steamed vegetables, which I love. It's cabbage and kale and broccoli. And I'll get my favorite teriyaki chicken, which is, like, no calories, low carb, and it's perfect. They didn't have the chicken. They didn't have, my second choice would be the chicken and green beans either. So the only thing they had was something called stir-fried wok vegetables. So I thought, okay, there's no breading. This sounds fairly decent. But then when I get home, I'm eating it. And I thought, I better look up the nutritional value. And it turns out it had 17 carbs and 16 grams of sugar. And then I found out, that my favorite dish, which is this very lean chicken, is the best thing on the menu you can order. And then there's this big but, which says it can be dangerous to your health because sometimes they prepare it on a cutting board where they've sliced it, and then a piece may linger and get food poisoning, and then it's contaminated, and then you eat it and die. I'm like, that ruined my one restaurant treat, was just ruined and went down the drain. So, and then I realized that after the shrimp and vegetables, which just had this, probably if it had just stir fried the shrimp and veggies, it would have been fine, but they add this sauce to it. And I realized that's where all the hidden calories, carbs, and sugar, that's where that was. So
Yeah.
that made me hungry because, I slayed my sugar demon doing 2 years of keto, but let's just say 2 years of low carb eating. But that little bit of sugar was like, just give that junkie a little bit of heroin and you're going to want more and more and more and more and more. So I thought, okay, I'm really still hungry. What can I eat? And I thought, lettuce, salad. You've got tons and tons of romaine. Just eat as much romaine as you can stuff into your face. So I had the romaine and put blue cheese dressing on it. But I used a half a jar of blue cheese dressing, which was really, overkill on the dressing. And it just kind of blew the whole day for me, because you do 2 straight years of low carb keto and you really have gotten the sugar out of your body. And, I never do diet soda. So I don't really have any, I don't have any equivalents of pizza. Like, I make homemade low carb pizza. And if I want a cookie, I make a high fiber, no sugar, low carb cookie. So in those 2 years, I kind of developed substitutes for everything that I love. And I'm very happy with that. I can make avocado pistachio ice cream with coconut milk, pistachios, and an avocado. So I kind of worked that out for 2 whole years. So the things that I do now, like if I eat nuts, that really is one of my, nuts are to me what M&Ms are to Ron.
Right.
I have the same problem with nuts. And it doesn't matter. It can be, I tried eating pistachios because you have to crack the shell and it takes more time. I tried eating unsalted cashews because what I really like about the cashews is the salt. So I've just tried to conquer this nut beast. That is really my go-to, can't eat that food without stopping or till it's all gone food.
Okay. You know, what's interesting is once because you just identified it, once you have a little bit of something sweet, then your sugar monster kicks in. And even if it's been silent for a while, your sugar monster sort of goes, whoa, what was that? I liked that. Can I have more of that? And a lot of times we don't make good choices around how to defeat that. We make the choice, the convenient choice of, Sarah's chocolate bar, or, her licorice, or whatever it is, because it's quick, it's easy, it satisfies that need. But the problem is sugar is addictive. The more we eat it, the more we want it. And if we can't get our sugar monster under control, then that's where food freedom disappears, because it's no longer us making the decision. It's this other little voice that's saying, feed me, feed me, feed me, right? So that is a fantastic observation, Veronica. I really, really love that. Well done on that. Cool, great stuff. All right, Carla, you're next.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Kim.
Hello.
Awesome. Oh wow, today was an interesting day. Last night I was feeling very down, and I'm thinking, like, just like everybody has mentioned, pants are fitting tighter, clothes are fitting a little bit tighter. I'm thinking, it's been, more than a week. What's going on here? And just as I was working late last night, and just as I was about to close my computer, my phone, I got a message on my phone, and it was my best friend who's been, successful on WildFit from 2 years ago already, and she's kept the weight off. So I took that as a sign, because she sent me a picture of her Alka-Geyser. She told me she was going to do it with me. She's like, I'm gonna start over the program just so I can follow you. And she sent me the picture of her Alka-Geyser, and I took it as a sign, as, don't give up. So I told her exactly what my thoughts were at that moment. And I said to her, I feel like my clothes are fitting tighter. And she's like, Carla, just follow the program. Just trust the process, what Trish said. Just trust the process. She said, keep on going. You'll see what, it's all psychology. And she said, you'll see what happens. You'll see what happens, and it's going to be all good. So I am so, so happy. I was so happy that she wrote to me right at that moment, because again, I was about to close my computer from working late. And all of a sudden I start thinking, oh my God, my clothes are fitting so tight, and I'm eating all this junk, and it's just, too much food. And what am I doing? So I'm so happy that she wrote. And then I do have to say the dialogue is getting louder and louder, and I am noticing more and more things. It's just hard hearing that dialogue and then saying, well, I have to eat this muffin anyway, because, I'm supposed to.
Yep.
Because I think in the past, had I been more conscious of what I was eating, I wouldn't have eaten that muffin, because I know that I would have been bloated afterwards, or I would have wanted more muffins after the fact. So, this morning, that's exactly what happened. I had my muffin after my fruit, after my Alka-Geyser. I wasn't hungry at all, but then I'm thinking, it was maybe like noon. I'm thinking, I gotta eat something. And I saw a muffin. I was like, well, it's there. It's not gonna go to waste. So I'm gonna eat it. But even like observing the muffin, I was like, oh, I know this is not gonna make me feel good afterwards. So I know that the dialogue is getting louder. I just wanted to start deleting foods. I don't know what foods though, because I still enjoyed it. It's just after the fact, 30 minutes later, I know I wasn't feeling right. So during, I was feeling great, but afterwards I wasn't. So yeah.
And
So that was
that's, you know what, and it's okay. It's okay that the food tastes wonderful. Where you want to get to is a spot where you make a decision between it tastes wonderful and I feel lousy. Which of those two things are more important to me? And if
That's
it's,
exactly.
and if it's the food tastes wonderful, so I'm going to live with the feeling lousy, okay. But if it's, as we hope, yeah, it tastes wonderful, but I hate feeling lousy. I hate it more than it's wonderful. That's the goal. So that you're on your way. I'm so excited for you. And I had another thought and it's now gone.
No, that's exactly what Andrea said last night, because I told her, I was like, I'm not at the point, because we've always loved to eat. Even in our college days in the city, that was our treat. Oh, we had a tough, exam, or we had a long week of studying. We had to cram for tests, midterms, whatever it was. Our treat was always, oh, let's go eat. oh, there's pizza, or there's this. And obviously we were poor students, so the cheapest thing was not the healthiest thing. And
Mhm.
that's what we would do. And that's exactly what she said last night. I was like, Andrea, but I haven't gotten to the point where, maybe like several people in the group, I want to get rid of something. Everything still tastes good. Every single bite of it still tastes good. It's just after the fact that I feel lousy. And she said, yeah, me too. 2 years later, still I still enjoy every bite of everything that I eat. I just decide not to eat something because of the way it's gonna make me feel afterwards.
100%. Yep. Yep.
So yeah.
Oh, and I had it again and it's gone.
Oh no.
I should just have you keep talking, Carla, but that's okay. So, yeah, we'll just leave it. It's good. It's all good. The muffin, the food timeline. Yeah, it's gone. Sorry. If it comes back, I'll get there. But great check-in. Wonderful. Good observation. I'm loving the dialogue. I'm loving the how you're using the food timeline to really decide how is it making me feel? What is the message that my body is sending me, and paying attention to it?
Yeah.
So you're not sure what you want to give up, but what are you afraid to give up? What are you, if Eric was standing here today saying, Carla, you can't eat this thing any longer for this challenge, what are you afraid that one food is?
See, that's where I've enjoyed everything. That's exactly what I was telling Andrea yesterday. I've enjoyed everything that I've had so far. I might be able to give up sweets, but not for the long haul, which that's the part that scares me, because right now I still enjoy them. And I'm
Mhm.
still, I know that they're gonna make me feel lousy 30 minutes. Like the muffin this morning, it was very sweet, and 30 minutes later, I felt really bloated, and I didn't enjoy it at that moment. But while I was eating it, I was enjoying every single bite. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure that. Maybe it is muffins, maybe it is sweets. I've never been a big sweets person. That's the thing. It's just when I'm anxious, or when I feel I deserve a treat, or for example, we just got back from IKEA, my mom, my husband, and I. And my mom and my husband, they both enjoy the the non-fat frozen yogurt. And the whole entire time, I was thinking of Eric's talk from the video from this morning that I watched, and I was like, oh God. I even asked both, and I was like, this has milk, right? And they're like, yes. I'm like, oh God. So that was going through my mind, but I still enjoyed it. While I was having it, I still enjoyed it. It's just 30 minutes later, and now obviously after what Eric said, I'm like, okay, now that I know that, I don't I don't want to have anything with milk in it. But I don't know that I'm ready to give up anything yet for the right reasons, or
Yep.
at least for the long haul.
Yep.
So
I'm really happy to hear that you had the frozen treat though, because well done.
Yeah.
Well done. Even though it had milk in it. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. Good job. Thank
and
you,
my pants
Carla.
are tight. My pants are about to explode, but that's okay.
By the way, have all of you, and if you haven't, and I know Trish said I can't get on the scale because I'll be really annoyed. But if you haven't, please take your measurements, take your pictures, and take your weight. Taking your pictures might be very painful because you might not look like how you look in the pictures, but I will tell you, it will be the best thing that you will have ever done, because 90 days from now, when you compare yourself to how you look today, you will be astonished. And I have had a few of my clients share their before and after pictures, and it's so incredible. And as a coach, it just warms my heart, because I think, wow, like that's an amazing journey that you just went on. So please take your pictures. You don't have to post them into the WildFit account if you don't want to. Save them on your phone, put them in a private place. Don't share them with anybody, but you truly will want to compare before and after. So that's probably what it was that I wanted to say, Carla. Thank you. All right, Yukari.
Good morning good morning here in
Good
Japan.
morning.
Yes. So the alkalizer
Mhm.
process, I realized that I have never bought or so much vegetables and be aware of fruits, because it just we never really eat fruits in our house. And one thing I noticed is celeries here are very, very expensive. and they only like sell one stock or two, very, very expensive. So I never bought them here. But after this, I wanted to find it. And amazingly enough, they sell these like top leafy area with the small stalks at a cheaper price. So I got that. And when I had the Alka-Seltzer, I really enjoyed the different tastes of different vegetables in there and realized, wow, I'm missing out. It just opened a new horizon for me to try out different things. And that Alka-Seltzer is truly, your taste buds become very sensitive because what you put in, oh, this is how it tastes like. And I actually enjoy it. It tastes really healthy mentally.
Mhm. Yep.
And it is quite filling. So that's something that sort of made a new habitual awareness to when I do grocery shopping. And with fruits, like amazing enough, because I never buy fruits here. There's different, like there's a lot of course, most of the fruits here are imported, but like mangosteen and all these like tropical kind of fruits are available. And that was like, wow, at a local supermarket, there's so many varieties of fruit. So it does add up, but at the same time, it feels like it's opening up a new horizon.
Good. Oh, that's awesome. I never make my Alka-Seltzer the same way twice. I have a base recipe, but I use whatever's in my fridge. So some days it's kale, some days it's spinach. I've thrown broccoli in it. I've thrown cauliflower in it. So, it's fantastic to play with the flavors and really get to experience that. So I'm really happy that we're opening up that avenue for you. And the green leafy part, it's a little bitter. It's a little more bitter than the actual stalk, but it's probably part of the best part to put in the Alka-Seltzer. So well done. I know people, by the way, that have put zucchini in their Alka-Seltzer. I've not tried zucchini yet. Basil is another option. Mint, my favorite is mint. In the summertime, I grow mint in my garden and I just, shove it all. I grow it simply for my Alka-Seltzer. So well done. Okay.
So
cool.
One thing that I do not want to give up is my red wine.
The famous red wine.
I don't do it every day, but it's after I do a big seminar, or it's like it's a good relaxing at the same time acknowledgement and recognition for me. It's sort of like a ritual.
So that's how I was going to say, that sounds like a rule. I'm treating myself. I deserve it. I'm going to sit and relax, and this is part of my ritual of relaxing. I've done a great job, so I deserve a glass of red wine. Sounds like a pretty decent rule, right?
And coffee in the morning is something it'd be hard to give up, but I would if I have to.
Okay. Interesting lists that we have going here. Well done. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I've got Rachel next.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, she's gonna think I'm saying hello to someone. Well, first of all, I just have to say that so much of what Sarah said really resonated with me. I hide things, I sneak things, so a lot of that just really, really resonated with me too. And I think a lot of that has to do with shame. And I mean, I noticed when I lived with a partner and then she moved out, my eating habits completely changed. Because not that she was judging me, but in my head she was, but she wasn't there to judge me anymore. So I could have second dinner standing at the counter of cereal, or, peanut butter and jelly sandwich as second dinner on the couch with Netflix, or, whatever. So, anyway, so I just wanted to say, I struggle with that as well. But I have had a hard time this week so far um, with like filling up on so much in the morning. Because a lot of times I'm not hungry first thing in the morning.
Mhm.
And you know, my go-to before this was sometimes I wouldn't eat until 10 or 11 o'clock, and then it would be oatmeal with fresh blueberries and honey. That's like one of my favorite things to eat for breakfast. So I'm struggling with having to eat and or drink so much like first thing in the morning.
Yep.
And I also am finding that I really miss like fruit in the afternoon.
Mhm.
Because I used to bring like a couple pieces of fruit to work, and then in the afternoon I would have an apple, and I'm sort of an apple snob, and I like trying all different kinds of apples. And so I'm struggling with not being able to have fruit in the afternoon.
Okay.
And or like blueberries and strawberry, like berries with like yogurt and or oatmeal. I'm having a hard time with that. I miss that.
So are you missing the fruit in the afternoon, or is it also a combination that you're missing having a snack and you're not sure what to snack on in the afternoon?
It's probably both.
Okay.
I do, like I said, I do genuinely really like having like an apple in the afternoon. And then sometimes too, I'm just like, well, what do I eat instead? So I ended up eating like this chocolate granola protein bar thing today that I sort of wanted, but didn't really want. And then it just didn't really do anything for me, but it's all that I had at work and I was hungry. So it's what I had. So
Yeah. Are you being an apple snob by having apples in the morning?
no, I guess I could do that.
Yep.
I could have my apple like first thing in the morning. Yeah, that's an idea. Maybe I'll do
There you
that
go.
tomorrow.
And the other thing is, there's nothing saying that you have to sort of get up and then have your water and breakfast. I mean, if you normally will get up and aren't necessarily eating until 10 o'clock in the morning, then have your fruit at 10 o'clock in the morning. That can replace your breakfast. It's the only concession we sort of give, because we do recognize that when we've asked you to not change your habits and keep eating what you've always eaten, that sometimes breakfast becomes a bit much because we've got Alka-Geyser, water, fruit, and now you're adding in oatmeal or toast or eggs or whatever you normally would have. So you can forego your breakfast if that helps. Have your fruit a little bit later, but the only concession is that once you've decided that you want to eat something other than the fruit, then the fruit's done for the day. And then you can go and eat anything else that you want, any of your vegetables, any of your snacks, any of your ice cream, if that's what you're still eating these days, any of that. Your protein bars. So do you have any wins from the last couple of days, or any insights that are, growth and positive insights into what you're doing right now?
Well, I guess a win for me was after our last call, I took the dogs straight home, and then I went to the grocery store and I bought, among like other things that I bought was some yellow squash. And as an adult, well, I've never made squash. And so
That's awesome.
So I was like, well, I'll just buy this, and then I'm going to need to look up a recipe to see how to prepare this in a delicious fashion. So that was a win for me and sort of a big deal. And then I guess in terms of insights, I'm finding out about how certain foods make me feel.
Good.
And certain rules that I do have, like, I think it was something that Sarah mentioned too earlier, you know, once I've started something, well, then it's just like, well, I just need to finish it. I need to get it out of the house. It's got to go. Well, I'm just going to eat it. And so why not just eat it all tonight, right now?
What I find interesting about that is that you go and buy it again. And then you're back in the same dilemma of, well, it's in my house, so I better eat it. Right? Like, it's a little bit ironic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, great insights though. Squash. So, Veronica's posting a squash recipe in our Facebook group, so that's awesome. What kind of squash did you buy, Rachel?
I
Or
don't
don't
know.
you know? You just bought
I don't
squash.
Yellow? Are there different kinds?
There are. One of the ways that I make squash, that's if you happen to have a crock pot,
I do.
In the morning, put your whole squash, do nothing with it, but the whole thing in the crock pot, add a couple of cups of water, put it on low, cook it all day. And then when you come home, it's 100% cooked. It's the easiest way to make it. And then you just cut it open and you cut all the seeds out, and then salt and pepper. There are some that will tell you to put butter or brown sugar on it, but it all depends on where you're at, right? So is it round or does it have like a bulb at the bottom?
It has the bulb.
Okay, so go Google it and get a picture. Butternut squash perhaps is what you bought. You know what, guys, as we go through this challenge, there's going to come a time when I'm going to strongly suggest that you start experimenting, and you can start with your fruit. If you're in the grocery store and there's a fruit that you've never had, experiment. What does that taste like? Same with your vegetables. To get more in, like what Rachel's doing is awesome. I don't even know what this is. I don't know how to cook it, but I'm going to buy it and I'm going to Google it and I'm going to eat it and I'm going to discover whether or not I like it or not. So well done. Like that's phenomenal. I think that was the highlight of the call so far. Well done. Ron, how are you tonight?
I'm excellent. I don't want to go anymore because the highlight of the call already happened.
Sorry.
It's like coming after the main event, you know. It's
Well,
like
yeah, but this is the challenge now. Can you top that?
Yeah, well, I can do my best. It was a good day today. My tennis got rained out, but we got to play about 20-30 minutes of tennis this morning, which was fun and great. And I'm getting some insights. I've been having pizza a couple of times. Again, I like pizza, but pizza's easy. You know, it's easy. You can just drop it in the oven, and we're supposed to eat things that we like, and so I'm reintroducing it, but it's making me sick. It's kind of like today and yesterday, I've been getting indigestion from it. So, but I guess that's good. These are all the insights that you want to pay attention to and notice, and I am. As far as things that I would be reluctant, not impossible to give up, I love 1 cup of coffee a day. Now, I've given up coffee for years at one point, and then there's been times in my life where I've drank 4, 5, 6 cups of, every time I visited a client, they would offer coffee and I would take it. But I'm down to where it's 1 cup a day. I could do it if I needed to do it, but I thoroughly enjoy that 1 cup. I really enjoy it. I mean, it's not even a push, it's pleasure. And the other thing is, and I don't know if it was Sarah or Veronica who said, I also love nuts. I love nuts, and I mean, the nuts are always around. I mean, I'm always snacking on nuts, and you already took away the raisins from me, or I know I can't have the raisins and nuts anymore. So I don't know if, I guess it's both of them are going to be gone, but anyway, things are good. I'm trying to pay attention to, I'm trying to slow down,
Mhm.
pay attention to the, um, to the timeline.
Yep.
You know, I'm trying to pay attention to my thought. I'm trying to, if I'm not having a conversation, say, like, let's have a conversation. I thought it was really interesting on the video today. First of all, it was very interesting about dairy and the cows and all that. But it's also really interesting in slowing down your movements and paying attention for other behaviors.
Mhm.
So I found that that's kind of what I really like about this program too. I get it that we're eating things, and to make a long-term change, you have to be the one to change. It has to become your new rule that
Yep.
you've accepted, that you've weighed out and you made it your own. So anyway, that's me rambling a
awesome.
little bit. That's good.
Your coffee in the morning, how do you take it?
Black.
Okay, just black. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, no
Because
sugar.
most people, I will tell you that the majority of the world does not actually like the taste of coffee. That's why they put cream or milk or sugar and all of that other stuff in it. And that's why you can buy, hazelnut flavored
Yeah,
whatever, or,
sure.
yeah. It's why my husband puts Bailey's in his, right? Like
Well-
yeah, there's so many things to put in coffee because we really, truly do not like the taste of coffee. There are the odd exceptions. Ron is one of them, apparently.
I do like it. And just a real quick, so my morning routine is I do 32 ounces of water with lemon with water. The
Mhm.
first thing. Then I do 1 cup of black coffee. Then because I want to work out on an empty stomach. I do a rebounder for 35 minutes on an empty stomach. Then I go in and do the alka
Alka-Geyser?
whatever. Yeah, the Alka-Geyser or excuse me, then the fruit, then the Alka-Geyser.
Okay.
So, I mean, I kind of consider that an empty stomach with 1 cup of coffee with absolutely nothing in it.
Yeah, yeah. In theory, the coffee should be the last thing you have, but you know what? We're not striving ever for perfection. So the closer that you move in that direction, that's great. But for now, if that works for you and you're getting it all in, then good job.
Cool.
Um,
Peppers count? And green, like red pepper or yellow peppers, do they count as, can you throw them in the alkalizer, or they count as
Sure.
vegetables?
They are vegetables. Realistically, you would want to put green peppers in, not red, because we're really trying to make it as green as possible. But
Okay,
yeah,
that's-
you can try peppers. Try it and tell us how it is.
I'll eat a raw pepper all the time, just the way it is. But okay, thank
Okay,
you.
yeah. Yeah, try it and let us know how that flavor combo mixes.
Oh,
Right,
the
okay.
pressure, the
The
pressure.
pressure, I know. Ron,
Right.
is there anything that you're ready to give up, that you're ready for, you're ready for Eric to say, like, yep, from this point, you can't have that?
Well, the way that I feel with this pizza sitting right here and giving me all this indigestion, I wish he had told me 2 days ago that pizza was off the list, because it's made me sick for 2 days. But I'm all right. I'll go with the flow.
Okay. Sarah, you're asking if you can put tomatoes in the Alka-Geyser? Or no? No, I would not.
Oh, that's a shame. It tastes good.
It does.
It tastes like a
That's
gazpacho soup.
That's not to say that post Wild Fit, you can't do that. But for the
Mm.
purposes of the program, I would
Mm.
stay away from that. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Okay. So we are at a spot where there are some folks that signed up just for the Try Wild Fit for the 14 days. So we will all have one more call on Friday. But if you're considering upgrading to the whole program, this would be the time to do so. You should be getting information on how to do that from WildFit headquarters. If you want to continue to do this, but this isn't a convenient time for you, or I'm not in your time zone, there are coaches around the world. If you go onto the WildFit website and do a find a coach, we have hundreds of coaches around the world. So if there's a coach that's more appropriate for you and you want to leave this group and check it out with them, you will not hurt my feelings whatsoever, because I know there's fabulous coaches. But if you want to continue the journey with me, then I'm happy to keep going with you guys. I have honestly had such fun. This is going to be an amazing group. I can already sense moving forward that this is going to be amazing for all of you. I do want to remind everybody that it's called a 90-day challenge for a reason. It's not going to be easy at times. There will be moments where you are frustrated. Bye, Sarah, if you have to go. Yep. There will be moments where you're just thinking, I don't know that I can actually do this. I promise you that you can do it. And I promise you that at the end, it will have been worth it. But I don't want anybody, I mean, we've had some fun this week and we haven't had to make any changes. I don't want anybody thinking that this is going to be a breeze for the next 80 some odd days, just 80 days, right? Because we're at day 10. So, so just be aware of that. I don't want to hear anybody saying, oh my God, Kim, you should have told me it was going to be this hard. It's called a challenge. But anyway, any last questions before we head off for the evening? It's an enhancement day Friday. Oh my gosh, I'm super excited. And I promise at this point that Jeannie's like, no, not now. Namita, did you want to say something really quick?
Yes, very quick. I don't want to be, sorry for the background noise. I don't want to sound super negative, but I was just wondering, like, this program has 80% of success. I'm just wondering what happens with those 20% of people. Like, what are the struggles that you guys have observed, where they're not able to, is it because I find myself in that 20%. I have so much fear of, like everybody said, like my morning tea, giving up bread. And, I'm like, there's so many obstacles that I am seeing right now because, with my schoolwork, with 2 toddlers and both the day I started this program, both of them got sick back to back. So it was like, so I was just opening the refrigerator, whatever I could grab. So I never got a moment to even have a conversation with myself, like, why am I eating nothing? I'm like, okay, just grab all the feel good factor food I ate so that I could just survive for 2 weeks with 2 kids with
Kids,
yeah.
There's never, in my experience, there's never a perfect time to do this. There's always going to be an obstacle, whether it's sick children at home or whether it's a major holiday that's on the horizon, or whether it's, I want to travel and, I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. So I think when people are not successful, it's because they aren't quite ready to make that commitment and to make it work despite the barriers that are in front of us, because there's always going to be barriers. There's always something, there's always a wedding on the horizon, or, an event to go to, or, things pop up, somebody ends up in the hospital. What I got out of this is that ability to be flexible, to plan, and, to go with the flow and know that even in the end, if I don't make a good decision, it's not the end of the world, that I'm just going to make a better decision tomorrow. So it's, the 20%, I'm going to tell you, honestly, I think we have a much higher success rate than 80. I think it's probably closer to 90, 95. But when you say that, people don't believe you. So they say 80 because that sounds more realistic. Does that help? But how are you doing so far then in the program?
I mean, I'm really enjoying the fruit because I never thought of eating the fruit first thing in the morning. So I had given up so many fruits. Everything was just causing acidity and bloating. So I'm really enjoying the fruit in the morning. Like I'm just pumping up with whatever I could eat. I had given up apples, mangoes, and I'm just eating those.
Mhm.
So that's been good. Alka-Geyser has been awesome. But yeah, beyond that, I'm not able to do more changes probably right now. Yeah.
Okay. So I also want you guys to remember, we are going to be removing something on Friday. I'm not going to tell you what the something is. I'm going to let Eric explain that. We never remove anything entirely forever. This is removal for the balance of the program. So if you're thinking, I'm afraid to give up my chocolate, I'm afraid to give up my coffee, I'm afraid to give up my red wine, you will probably be asked at some point to remove those things from your normal eating pattern. But you can make the decision at some point in the future that if you really want those things back in, then bring them back in. But you're going to bring them in mindfully. You're going to, and today you might say, oh my gosh, if I have to give up coffee, the minute I'm done this program, I'm bringing a coffee back in. You might not want to. You really don't know at this point what you will or won't bring back in ever. And that's the cool thing about this challenge, about this whole Wild Fit program, is the concept of food freedom and making those decisions for yourself. So I'm always going to encourage you to play the game full out. The closer you follow Eric's guidelines, the more successful you will be. But I am also not in your kitchen, and neither is Eric. So none of us are looking over your shoulder saying, you can't have that because we said we weren't going to eat that anymore. So it's always going to be entirely up to you. I hope that helps. I hope that helps. Okay. All right. So yes, Friday is an enhancement day. We will be talking about temporarily removing something from our diets. And even if you're not finishing the program with us, you can still make that change in your life. And I think you're going to see some huge lasting results just from that one change. With that, I'm going to leave you to enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll see you guys in a couple days. Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.